You got to hit the corner and turn right away. Hit the corner, stop, and turn. And that delay right there was all the runner needed. Practice that play a lot, but in the heat of the moment, trying to get the final out. And you see he overshoots the bag. That's the first mistake. And of course, Gomes never really going to stop. But all he needed was that delay where he didn't hit the corner of the bag, turn around and check where the runner is. You practice that play.
That's going to be an infield and an RBI for Stephen Drew. He drives in a run from second on a ball that does not leave the infield. Johnny Gomes had a sense about it. He was busting it off the bag at second base, and he scores without a throw.
Moore looked up and checked the umpire to see if he got the out before he turned to check the runner scoring.
Red Sox had the lead 3-2.
Well, there's a little indecision on the pitcher, and you can understand it because that ball's hit more towards second base. Once the first baseman goes to get the ball, you have to make that same beeline, and you have to hit the corner of the bag. He overshot it, and then by then it was too late. And what that corner of the bag allows you to do is pivot, turn back, and make the play. You got to anticipate that play before it happens.
Johnny Gomes drove in two with a double. Infield hit an RBI by Drew.
Was very aggressive to the ball. He was charging without really having the patience to see what that carom was going to do. It's been an inning to forget, really, for
a lot of inexperience in the outfield with the Rays. There goes a double and an RBI for Middlebrooks. And now the 8th batter of the inning, Jacoby Ellsbury. Red Sox lead 4-2. 4 runs are in on 5 hits.
Two solo home runs and a crooked number. You know, you rarely see a lot of series where this might happen, but if an inning can get away from you pretty quickly. The next thing you know, when you have time to slow it down and go, what just happened? I felt like I pitched pretty good, or I felt like I could have got out of that inning.
Again, he uses the field more right-handed than left. He got something up and away from him. Did a nice job of just serving that into right field. Giving a strike.
Up and out of the zone in Victorino. Victorino with a stolen base today. Johnny Gomes had that mad dash from second. Scoring out. Rodriguez looks up and he's off the monster. One run is sent that way. Here comes Gomes and the throw is double Psychomachia. And it's 7-2 Boston.
The Green Monster is eating Sean Rodriguez alive. First double off the wall came down, hit on the warning track, bounced over his head. The next one hit off the wall, caromed away from him. He couldn't knock it down. Same thing there. He was too close to the wall and it bounced over his head.
Pitch and change. Joe Madden will take Matt Moore back with him.
All right. So you just saw from some of the highlights I was able to compile, showing how, Boston blew it up. And then they did it again in the second half of the game, to the tune of like 12-2. Welcome to Talk Radio of the OMSR. I am your host, Will, the alternative ESPN Sports Thrill. Remind you, this is a show. My sponsor is the DMCA, Digital Millennium Copyright Act. It covers the fair use standard, minimal use, and derivatives. So all the video highlights courtesy to Major League Baseball and, who was it? TBS. Everything else to the OMSR. So y'all got to understand out there, it's not my first choice to have to do a show here. This was so much easier 3 years ago. But Major League Baseball was the first to sort of get fanatical about even 2 or 3 minute bit or even 30-second bit clips from the playoffs. They didn't care so much about the games. Now you can't take anything from a game without getting third-party content ID or worse, a copyright strike. And so that ain't going to happen here. Been doing this too long, too many shows compiled, as you can see. There's a method to the madness. And the talk radio is not so bad. I always keep it like to 2 to 4 minutes at most. Okay, so with regard to the game, you saw those moments from Tampa Bay. Now, on this channel, I covered a lot of baseball a couple times a week to sort of show the evolution and the progression of why it is in the postseason certain teams were there as it evolved. And frankly, Tampa Bay, you know, they showed up a lot on the playlist in terms of highlights, courtesy to, you know, Major League Baseball. They do, or I'm sorry, Baseball Tonight. They do a great job, but to wait for Baseball Tonight to show highlights when these games are on, like as of right now, filming of this, 3 o'clock Pacific, it's just too late. So I'm doing the old, that we're going to do the percentage-wise, you know, of original content mixed in with the borrowed content. And so that's why I do a show, but also with sports personality-wise. And again, it was a case of, like last night, who was it? Pittsburgh and St. Louis. You know, an inning or two, and the whole thing just blows up. But I was going back to, you know, because of things that were covered on the channel on the baseball playlist. Yeah, it shouldn't have been Tampa Bay, frankly. They're lucky to have had that record they had. They were like slumping along, and suddenly they poured it on, and you know, it either should have been Cleveland or Texas. Because Boston is not that great a hitting team, or are they? Is my question to you guys. Is Tampa Bay going to get swept? I mean, it certainly looks like it. Truth to tell. All right, so a few more games we're going to cover for today. And just a reminder, you know, you may want to come back here and catch those quickie clips if you missed the game or ESPN. You know, yeah, it's great to have apps and all mobile-wise, but you still got to, like, sift through it all. You come to the OMSR, you get a nice quick vignette, and then I'm out of here. Thanks for watching. No silly DUIs while you're out there.